So while you're legally watching Blue Murder, you perhaps could also be legally watching the most illegally watched show, not just in Christendom, but in all the dooms around the world, and that is Game of Thrones.
All the dumbs.
Hey, I watched some of this Game of Thrones. I knew you'd want to talk about it.
Did you?
And I watched some.
Okay.
I'll tell you the best part, shall I?
No, wait a sec. This episode is remarkable in that, remarkable in a whole range of ways. But I just think from an industrial viewpoint, what's really remarkable is that HBO, which is utterly paranoid about Game of Thrones being pirated, accidentally uploaded this episode 5 days early.
Really?
They accidentally dumped it in Spain and in Sweden.
On the net?
On the net. I don't think they actually broadcast it. I think what they did is they put it on their streaming service on HBO Now. Yes. And it was briefly there. And there was this mad flurry on Wednesday afternoon on Reddit as people were desperately hunting for a high-def link to this episode that had been accidentally uploaded. And they're going, damn those Spaniards, why can't they put up a decent link? And it was like, and they were going, settle, there's one coming from Sweden. It was just hilarious, actually, following this discourse of people frantically trying to find a viable link. Anyway, those of us who do not, frantically hunt for links waited until Monday. And on Monday we saw a really great twist. And for all those who have not seen it and are terrified of spoilers, here comes a spoiler. One of the dragons is felled and is basically brought back by the Night King. And so we basically now have a zombie dragon. We haven't seen it in action yet, but the final shot is its eye opening and it's blue, thereby indicating it is now...
That was inevitable.
It was kind of inevitable. And especially if you've read the books, it's inevitable. I, however, have not read the book.
I admire that about you.
Thank you.
Your continuing refusal to read the
I'm
books.
not going to read.
I admire that.
Last time we talked about it, so I said 800 words. 800
words.
I actually meant 800 pages.
800 words.
800 words I could manage. 800 pages, that's a bit more of an ask. Anyway, yes. So that's a remarkable thing within the narrative and a very cool moment, and there were good things in there. But the thing I wanted to talk about is that I really feel like Game of Thrones has begun to play so fast and loose with the rules of its own universe that I really think it's come pretty damn close to jumping the shark, or should we say jumping the dragon. It's just kind of... I just think it's bad faith. It really is not holding true to the rules it's established for its characters, motivations, behaviours. The thing that a lot of people are picking up on is time and travel and the distance that people can go and in the time it takes them to do that. It's become kind of ludicrous, and I think it's a real shame because I've spent 6 seasons building a very convincing world, which is a fantasy world. I mean, let's not lose sight of the fact that what we're talking about here is a world that has dragons, zombies, giants, elves, tree folk. I mean, all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's like, I grant you, it's all ludicrous, but it was consistently ludicrous. And it has now become inconsistent in its ridiculousnly. And I just find that really troubling.
Just when you thought all was lost.
That's okay. That you can excuse.
Okay.
But when you get...
Medea is a very popular play and people accept that.
When you get Jaime being pushed into the lake in a suit of armour, sinking to the bottom, and then the next frame he's hoisted out by Bronn, his mate, literally single-handedly. He pulls him out with one arm, right? That, I'm afraid, is now in the realm of utterly ridiculous. When you get Jon Snow about to be swallowed by yet another horde of zombies, and lo and behold, out of nowhere comes Uncle Benjen on horseback, who not only saves Jon, but then willingly sacrifices himself to ensure he gets away. It doesn't make sense. When you get the zombie horde suddenly producing 4 massive chains to drag a dead dragon out of the icy water, where were those chains before that? Where were they? There's no Bunnings around the corner. They didn't just pop out and get chains. It doesn't make sense. Even within the ludicrous confines of the world that's been established.
I have no expectations, so I'm happy that you are taking up this cause on our behalf. I hope that your protestations fall on the right ears.
Sort of elven-shaped ears. Yeah.
What I liked about this, there were some very enjoyable things on this show. The best thing that I found interesting and fun was all these blokes walking across the snow. Oh no! There wasn't that. It was when, I mean, this may have been sex talk. I might, I'm naive. I might not know sex talk when I hear sex talk. One guy says to the other guy, "Oh, your dad, he was the best. I loved your dad." And then the other guy goes, "No, your dad, he's the best. I love your dad. Oh, your dad would have killed me, Yeah, but he really respected you. Yeah, I love your dad. No, I love your dad. Here, take my sword. No, you keep your sword. Your dad would want you to. No, I think you should have it." And it was just two beautiful men loving each other, loving each other's dads in a really beautiful way.
There was an awful lot of man love in this episode. On the ice there, it was all man love. It was wall-to-wall man love.
Well, there was that tall bloke who I've seen in many a foreign film say to the other guy, "Dick, I like it." Yeah. That was very humorous.
That was the sex talk.
That was sex talk.
That was sex talk. Yeah. That's what I was talking about. So you do recognise it when you see it.
Okay. Well, I just thought that was puerile and childish, but that's how my humour runs, puerile and childish.
Look, I'll say this about Game of Thrones as it enters its final throes, because we've got one episode of this season left.
Yeah.
Like next week's season finale, 81 minutes long. Now, most of the episodes run about 50 minutes.
Okay.
The one that you watched this week was 73, I think.
Yep.
The next one, 81 minutes. So they're basically making movies at this stage.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then 6 episodes in the final season. I'll stick with it, right?
Well, you have to.
There's so much invested in it now. 66 episodes down.
Yeah.
I've committed.
Yep.
And it still does spectacularly well. It's just that the stuff around it is starting to look a little bit frayed, I think. A little bit lazy. The storytelling has become a little bit lazy.
Yeah, I agree.
Where's best friends? Yeah, we actually skiing.